During the recent election, one could hardly tune into a news program without coming across Peggy Noonan. Her musings on the election and the American political landscape in general grew into her latest book, Patriotic Grace. All right, so I went looking. Grace, politeness, dignified, decent behavior, generosity of spirit, forgiveness, a gift of God to we humans. And it gets really serious, freedom from sin. And then I started to think about Washington, and I said, I don't know anyone like that.
Well, even outside of Washington, you don't know anybody like that.
You're patriotic.
I am patriotic. I like these days to draw the line between patriotism and nationalism.
That's
patriotism is love of country. Nationalism is breast beating. We are number one, and we can kick your butt.
Can we kick butt with grace?
Well, I wonder
theological question.
Yes, that is a great theological question. And as a foreign policy, do we want to winnow it down to kick butt? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
We want to be, look, politically, we want to be a great nation. We want Washington to stop, breathe in, resettle itself, and realize we are in a key moment. We got so many things on us that have to be faced in a serious way. Both parties, more than both parties, have to face it. They're going to have to face it with a new game, a higher game, I think. A greater grace towards each other, generosity, forbearance, actually trying to do one of the hardest things in life and certainly in politics, which is assume a good motive and good feeling on the other side.
Okay, can we give Barack benefit of the doubt at this point?
Benefit of the doubt. What you want to give him at this point, look, he is a new president.
Yes.
53% of the people voted for him, 46 did not, and did not in a time of 2 wars and economic collapse. So you got to realize that's a lot of not support for Obama. That's 56 million people. What do you owe your new president? Grace. Give him a chance. Pray for him seriously. Hope that as he prospers, we prosper. Hope that a new wisdom will come upon him, as sometimes happens with presidents, and not be playing a game. If he can resist it of pay off my guys, give them what they want. That's asking a lot, but we ought to ask a lot of our presidents.
Where does this leave the GOP? 1976 is probably the last time they've beaten this badly in the polls, I would think. And the differences between now and then, where does this lead the GOP? They are wandering in the wilderness?
Yes.
They're out?
They are refiguring. There are times in life, there are times in your life and mine, but also in political lives where a great party has suffered a series of defeats, 06, 08, where it has perhaps lost touch with the American people, and where you have to settle down and redefine yourself.
What are the positives now for the Republicans?
What are the positives? Well, in a cheap way, you can sit back and criticize the other guy for his stupid decisions. Let's face it, a Republican Congress and a Republican president made plenty of mistakes. The fun is also, look, regeneration. There are times when, as a field, if you were a farming field, you have to lay fallow for a while. Man, that ain't the worst thing that ever happened.
No.
Life is full of tides and seasons and change. I don't mean to get zen on this, but I don't feel at all alarmist.
I'm going to turn your words around back on you, right? Okay. Patriotic grace. Sarah Palin. All right, here we go. Does not demonstrate the tools, the equipment, the knowledge of the philosophical grounding one hopes for and express in a bolder way for a high office, which is a mark against John McCain, against his judgment and his idealism. I guess is that grace? I'm sorry.
And it's fair enough.
Okay.
In its own way, I hope so, in this sense. My criticism of Sarah Palin was deeply and sincerely felt, but also meant to be constructive. I feel that in the modern Republican Party, very much as illustrated by Mrs. Palin, they have lost the serious things and are going more towards the showbiz. It's not good for democracy. There are big things. They must be discussed in a serious way, in a grounded way, in a grown-up way, in a thoughtful way. One should never, for instance, be chirpy as one talks about potential war. War ain't funny, and it ain't something to chirp about. As many of us do, I feel protective about America, and when I see something that really is not going good, I always say it in my column.
Words, like children, now Hillary was critical of this, have the power to make dance the dullest beanbag of a heart. Do you remember writing that?
Yeah, that's from my first book.
Right. And when I read that, and then I thought about Obama, I thought,
Oh, my goodness.
as a writer, I wondered if you would sometimes sit there and salivate about being able to write for him, although politically you're at the other end of the spectrum perhaps. Maybe not, I don't know. But words are important.
Words.
And he's a master with these things.
I can't help but disagree with you. When you see Obama, he makes a great impression. That's wonderful. Then go to the internet and print out his speech. Remove him from it. Look at the words on the page. Is it impossibly eloquent and beautiful? No, he's not there yet.
He needs
Maybe
you.
he will get there. He doesn't need me. He has wonderful people working with him. But different people have different styles, and one... Look, I believe conservatism is correct, and so you're more likely to get a great speech if it has conservative thinking within it.
Yes.
You know?
How do your personal, spiritual beliefs inform what you write?
I think they inform me as a human being. They inform everything I see and everything I think. I think about God more than I go to church, if you know what I mean. And I think that's true of so many Christians. God's on my mind. I ought to pray as much as God is on my mind, because then I'd be praying a lot. You know what? All I can tell you is God is real. And so that infuses everything.
There are major issues, for instance, they're not, they become political, but they're really moral. Abortion is one, the stem cell research, embryonic stem cell research. Homosexual marriage. Do you write about these things? Will you write about those things?
Oh, sometimes. I wrote most recently about abortion when Obama and McCain were in the Rick Warren interview. You remember there was that key moment where Rick Warren said to each candidate, tell me at what point does a fetus deserve human rights? Or at what point does one have human rights? And Obama famously said, that's above my pay grade. And I just thought, above your pay grade? Abortion is the issue that will never go away. Mm-hmm. And there's every kid in America who buys a condom knows when life begins. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Buying a pack of condoms tells you know exactly when it begins. So
God has a plan, Peggy Noonan. God has a plan. That was told you in 1992 by Lord Leonard Cheshire, nearby.
Oh my goodness.
And he says the plan is unveiled through prayer, keeping your mind open, life circumstances, and the people you meet. How's the plan going in your life?
Oh, what a big, fabulous question. The plan is a mystery to me always. Do you know what I mean? My life is something that I understand it when I look back, but I'm here. I'm alive. I'm kind of happy, even though for a living I observe politics. And I keep thinking of something Pope Benedict said in the past year. As a throwaway line in a speech, he said, God is in charge of history.
Yes, he is.
I quoted that in my last election column. God is in charge of history. Do your best. It's not all on you, but you must do your best.